What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here with the Distance History of the Heavyweight Division Volume 7. Haven't done this in a week now. Been busy doing other stuff, but anyway, I knew I was going to get back to this. So anyway, I ended the last time with Gene Tunney and said I was going to get into the long count. This one took place on September 22nd, 1927, and it was like almost exactly a year after the first fight between Gene Tunney and Jack Dempsey. See, Gene Tunney and Jack Dempsey fought when they first fought in 1926. Gene Tunney outboxed Jack Dempsey and won the championship. And Gene Tunney, Gene Tunney, he was a pure boxer, and that's what started the boxer versus puncher. Jack Dempsey was a puncher and practically a mauler, and Gene Tunney was simply a boxer. He wasn't going to stand in exchange with Jack Dempsey. And they fought again in 1927 in the rematch. And in the rematch, there was a new rule, a new stipulation that the commissions had came up with, and it was the ruling that when the fighter gets knocked down, the fighter who has the knockdown has to go to the neutral corner. And Jack Dempsey stood over his opponents and he would wait for them to get up, and he'd start attacking again. So in this fight, Jack Dempsey didn't listen to the referee, and he backed Gene Tunney into the corner in the 7th round of the fight. And when he backed him into the corner, many people in the audience believed that Gene Tunney was about to get knocked out. And Jack Dempsey, who signified a heroic champion at that time, it looked like he was more than likely going to win the championship again. But Jack Dempsey didn't go to the neutral corner, and he mauled him, which gave Gene Tunney some extra time to get up, and that extra time actually helped. It actually helped Gene Tunney because right after that round, Gene Tunney went back and controlled the fight, didn't back himself into any corner, and simply won the matchup. He just boxed against Dempsey for the rest of the match, and that move pretty much cost Jack Dempsey. And Jack Dempsey never won the heavyweight championship ever again following that fight. And then Gene Tunney, believe it or not, only fought one defense after. That was against Tom Heaney in, I believe, 1929, 27, 29, one of those years. But I know it was right before the 1930s. He has 11th round TKO over a fighter named Tom Heaney, and he retired as champion, never fought again. So then it's time for a new heavyweight champion. So the two contenders at the time is Max Schmeling and Jack Sharkey, and they both fought. Schmeling won the fight, and he's a new heavyweight champion. So Jack Sharkey's kind of working his way back up and wants a rematch. So in 1932, after a couple of years, Jack Sharkey beats Max Schmeling for the championship, for the heavyweight championship of the world. Though that the fight's debated, it was a split decision. Though the results of the fight are debated among a lot of boxing experts, and I believe the manager of Max Schmeling believed that it was a robbery. Possibly the United States wanted the heavyweight title back, whatever. But we'll see Max Schmeling again later on because he has a very significant win in 1935. So Jack Sharkey wins the championship. And what it seemed to me during this line of heavyweight champions is that a lot of the heavyweight champions, they would fight, often. Before they were champions, they would fight often, but they wouldn't fight after they won the championship. They would kind of wait for a contender to come up. So Jack Sharkey, while he's the champion, he has one defense, and while Jack Sharkey's the champion, a fighter by the name of Primo Carnera is coming up in the ranks. And Primo Carnera, as a lot of people know, I didn't even allude to this in one of my videos I had on him, Carnera was an Italian fighter who was pretty much backed by the mafia, and that's kind of what put him over in the United States. Was was really he was on top of that, he was like a circus. I believe he worked in the circus as well. But he's coming up 1931, 1930, and 1932. He's had a very busy year. He's fighting often. He's fighting days apart. I believe he had more than I think he had like more than 10 bouts in 1932 because he was fighting often, fighting days apart, and and kind of working his way up doing that. Didn't really fight anybody. Something that stands out to me, I think Tommy Loughran, fighter he defeated. I think he stands out. I believe he was a former light heavyweight fighter, but he's not really building up the resume or anything. He's just fighting. I guess he's just fighting typical everyday fighters or whatever. And he's working his way up the ranks doing that. And he comes in, he fights Jack Sharkey, he beats Jack Sharkey, becomes champion, and then he has a couple of fences, and then he fights Max Baer. Max Baer is a fighter who had a very good right hand. Very good right hand. Knocked down Primo Carnera like 11 times in their bout. And Max Baer is the new champion. But Max Baer loses the title on the first defense against James J. Braddock. And James J. Braddock, had more than 20 losses in his career, and many consider him to be a journeyman. And one of the biggest upsets in heavyweight history of that time was James J. Braddock over Max Baer. And it was because Braddock was the big time underdog in this fight. He was an underdog. He fought some valuable contenders of that time, and James J. Braddock, pretty much with James J. Braddock, he was just an underdog, and I believe Baer probably underestimated him, and he was handpicked as well. But Braddock came in, he rose to the occasion, won the heavyweight championship of the world, and then we're gonna move on to the next fight in the coming days. Joe Louis. So anyway, I'll be back with the Joe Louis era. But anyway, thanks for watching the history of the heavyweight division. Thanks for watching Distance. Peace.